Welcome back everyone to some more Lost Ark gameplay discussion. Let's get into it. Now, I want to talk to you guys today about what seems to be an impact system inside of Lost Ark based on the gameplay that I've seen. Now, what this is imagine if you could extend more resource cost on each individual character based on mana or whatever the particular resource cost is, might even be charged attacks. You're able to output more DPS based on the amount of resource used. Now, this is an awesome mechanic. I absolutely love this because you can blast through all of your resources and do incredible damage in short bursts, but not have the longevity. Now, there's a little bit more to this when I think about it, because it completely reverses the roles of, say, for example, say life on hit or life steal or sustain of your health into a split system where you want to sustain both. Of course, you're going to have some kind of regen. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of system like that in the game, but I feel like the gameplay is heavily going to be drawn towards stacking up as much resource as you possibly can with whatever regen system that they add. That's assuming that they are going to add some kind of, increase mana or increase charges, whatever the particular character is. Now, I like this idea that you get to, really focus on both your stats of health and resource, not just increasing the number as well. Now, we have seen stats in other action RPGs that do increase your resources, but that's mainly to output more attacks, not to increase the individual damage of a particular attack. The depth to this is exciting to me because it takes any skill that could be horribly bad and terrible, but it might have a very low resource cost. So if you stack up enough of your mana and output it all in one go, this skill all of a sudden could be fantastic. Now, when you multiply that by all of the different sources from all of the different characters, there's a lot of depth inside of this system. And I think this is possibly, in my opinion, one of the coolest customization features without losing that action high-speed attack system or having, obnoxiously large amounts of skills to choose from, which there isn't in Lost Ark, or, increasing items, stacking thousands of different items. Although I think that the more items, the better. Now, I wanted to jump over to a recent Reddit post that came up by a username. I won't mention who, but I found the topic pretty interesting as well. So yeah, the person basically asked, are there going to be any lolly characters inside of Lost Ark? What they're referring to is, really cute anime, the type of characters that are generally typical with a lot of Eastern games. They do have very cute characters, and it's not really that fitting to current RPGs when we reference back the available games right now. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing in any way to have cute characters. My personal preference lies in darker, more mature adult games rather than cute stuff. But, the way it looks right now is that it is, like, by my standards, very lolly. A lot of the characters in the game, they're very anime, very cute, very, they got that kind of style to it as well. But when you compare it to other Korean games, this is way less exaggerated and cute than, for example, like Rose Online. It's a massive kind of game that has a lot of those elements as well. Shit, even Ragnarok had that kind of flavor to it as well. By the way, the Ragnarok creators are working on a new game right now. I think is it in beta yet? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's supposed to be the successor. It almost looks like exactly the same as Ragnarok, so yeah, I thought they'd bring that up as well. But anyway, what do you guys think? There is a massive audience of players who really do like this stuff, and that's totally fine. Do you guys want to see, and be honest, would you guys like to see something like that? You'd have to shy away, and if you do comment in, don't bag on anyone who does want to see that. Sometimes people like different stuff. Now, there's one more mechanic that I wanted to talk about that is in the gameplay, once again, that I haven't really talked about in detail before, and that is that there seems to exist a proc coefficient. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, it basically means a coefficient on how long you can stun something for. So if you drop a stun and it says 3 seconds, not all monsters are stunned for 3 seconds. Now, this also applies to pretty much everything in the game, like life return, special unique abilities, pretty much everything, but we're just talking about stuns here for now, because especially in an MMO, if you can have more than 4 characters at the same time, you can basically rotate stuns and perma-stun a boss and be immortal. So it does seem like there is going to be a proc coefficient with some of the stuns that we have seen and crowd control within the bosses. This is something that I think that we can kind of expect, and once again challenges Smilegate to be able to balance this, because it's taken months if not a year or so, for some other games to really nail this down. And they always do slip through. There's always tweaking to, how long stuns work on certain monsters. A lot of really cool similarities from other games are getting pulled into Lost Ark that, the type of things that you explored when the game first came out. And yeah, it looks like we will be exploring these features again. For those of you who are very familiar with an action RPG, it's going to be amazing to be able to crush the game because we've got so much practice with these kind of advanced features that don't even feel advanced to us. But definitely will be some pretty interesting stuff. It kind of makes me excited to be able to know that I can pick up Lost Ark and hopefully own when the game does come out. Yeah. Anyway, friends, join me next time for some more Lost Ark discussion. Catch you next time. See ya.